the biggest battle we are facing today, you and me, as individuals, as organizations, personally and professionally, is for the time and attention of our audience. This is the attention economy, where time and attention is the new currency. It is hard to come by. It is expensive. It is elusive. And we have to be planful, mindful, and deliberate about earning it and keeping it. And oftentimes that is more important than what we know, than what we have to offer, than our products and services. And against that backdrop, time. A ticking clock. Because 90% of what someone thinks about us, our websites, our face, the way we look, the way we sound, the way we act, our content, our messaging is determined in the first 3 seconds. In fact, Google engineers say we have now 2.6 seconds online before someone is making the determination to dive deeper into our content or click away. Think about that. 3 seconds. It's not much time. And if you flunk those first 3 seconds, we don't get another turn. We don't get another chance to come up to bat. We are digital dust. We are gone. We are out of there. So join me in this place, this space, the noisiest marketplace in human history, right? I mean, come on. Everyone is talking, posting, pitching, promoting. And guess what? Swimming upstream in a sea of sameness, a tsunami of content, of cat videos, of vacation memes, everyone living their best life online. The problem isn't that people are distracted, although they are. The problem is we tend to have 30-second messaging in a 3-second world. That 300-word email we send to a colleague, it doesn't get read. That long, rambling voicemail message, it doesn't get heard. All those pages of PowerPoint in a new sales and marketing proposal, they're checked out. It's difficult. It's challenging, but it's doable. And at the end of this hour, you are going to be able to walk out from this room and go right outside in your next email, your next conversation, your next piece of content, your next proposal, your next conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues, your coworkers, your kids, your partner, and apply the things you learned right here. It is sticky. You are going to remember it, and it doesn't take 10,000 hours to master. I'm going to save you 9,999 hours because you're going to walk right out. I hear it all the time. People say I was able to put that into practice right away. And if you are someone whose success depends on earning that attention, building that trust quickly, and standing out in high-stakes moments, and who among us isn't that person, then you are indeed in the right place and the right space. In a world of shrinking attention spans and crowded marketplaces, the ability to grab someone's interest and attention in that first 3 seconds is absolutely critical. It's the difference between momentum and mediocrity. If you can't earn attention, you will never earn trust. If you don't earn trust, it's just noise. 3-second selling is earning the right to keep talking, to put yourself on that path to becoming someone people know, like, and trust. That's who we do business with. That's who we want to hang out with. That's who we want to work with and work for. It's rooted in neuroscience, storytelling, persuasion, sales psychology, and it shows you how to create emotional connections quickly. Authenticity is not just a buzzword. In this sea of sameness, authenticity is everything. So what is 3-second selling? It allows you to get noticed instantly, communicates value clearly, converts conversations into clients, and does so without any fancy sales funnels. It's not about moving people through the funnel, the close, the ask. It's none of those things. It's the very tip of the spear. Earning that time and attention, getting up to bat, having people consider you. In a 3-second world, you don't need more content. We are drowning in content. It's becoming more ubiquitous by the second. by the minute, by the hour, by the day. Enter ChatGPT, right? You don't need more content, you need more connection. That's how you stand out, that is how you sell, and that is how you matter. After this one session, like I said, one session, you'll know how to cut through that clutter, spark connection instantly, create messaging that sticks, and speak the language of your audience, whoever that audience is. All the way, as I said, from a formal sales and marketing presentation to something less than that. 3-second selling is a simple 3-part process. We learn in 3s. Knowing yourself, your organization, what's unique about you, what is your DNA, what is your backstory? That is unique. Nobody else has that. Nobody else. Lean into that. That can be your competitive advantage. Who are you? What do you have to offer? Why should someone care? That's maybe the most salient part. Number 2, knowing your audience. That is critical. We have to prove that we know our audience with every single interaction, every single touch point. Much of what we say and do is about us, not our audience. 80% of our sales and marketing messaging is about us, our products, our services, what we have to offer, not about them. Our job is to be a mentor to someone, to come alongside them, give them the tools so that they can be successful in their grand journey. It's not about you. It's not about your features and specs, what you have to offer. Know yourself, know your organization, know your audience. Number 3, be deliberate, planful, and mindful about what it is that you want out of an interaction. Well, of course. Right? Well, no. We spend about 50% of our day on autopilot. Okay? Just going through the motions, doing rote activities. That's fine for brushing our hair and shaving, doing things like that. But when it comes to human interaction, that doesn't work well. We're going to create those emotional connections. We have to put down our script. We have to get others to as well. That is where the magic happens. I said it's simple, it's not easy. Know yourself, your organization, know your audience, and know what it is that you want out of an interaction. I work with sales teams all the time, and one of the things I do is I shadow them and I listen to their sales calls, and they sound rote. They sound like they are just going through the motions, and guess what? People on the other end know it as well. Dear fill in the blank. Right? That doesn't work. We've got to show up differently. That is the only way that we cut through that clutter. So what is 3-second selling? Well, it's a messaging and sales acceleration system. It's built for fast, frictionless client conversations. We're going to hear a little more about friction in just a moment. It is attention-grabbing messaging. That should be clear by now if it's not already. And it's compelling offer positioning that, if done right, eliminates the close and the ask. People should make the determination before you do that they want to work with you, that they want to hear more, that they want to engage. It's not salesy, but it does give you the opportunity to have your prospects and customers self-close. Okay, I mentioned friction. Let's talk about friction, or the lack thereof, today, right? From dating apps to dinner delivery, it is effortless. We can get everything with just the touch of a phone. But guess what? Just because it's easy doesn't mean it has value. The barrier to content creation has never been lower. And guess what? That means we're going to get more and more and more of it. We're drowning in it. Anyone with a phone and a pulse can blast out a message, and they do repeatedly, mindlessly, pointlessly, right? Hello, TikTok and others. We swipe, we tap, we scroll. And what does it lead to? Oftentimes nothing. Everyone's a marketer now. That makes for a very cluttered, chaotic landscape. Back in the 1970s, a research firm by the name of Yankelovich said that we were subject to between 500 and 1,000 marketing messages a day. Sounds like a lot, right? 500 to 1,000. When I started 3-second selling, when I started this platform back in 2014, I used another figure from Yankelovich that said 6,000 to 8,000 marketing messages a day is how much the average American adult is subject to. Today, 8,000 to 10,000. And guess what? That number is going up all the time thanks to artificial intelligence. I talk to people all the time who say, well, I don't consider myself a very creative person. I was afraid to post on social media or LinkedIn or whatever. Well, now, I just ask ChatGPT to give me 30 days of LinkedIn posts or Instagram stories or what have you. We are getting flooded with content. And here's the paradox. When the barrier to message creation is low, attention becomes elusive. It becomes expensive. You are not just competing with others in your space, in your business vertical, in your industry like you used to. No, you're competing with cat videos and memes and Instagram posts. Now let's go back to authenticity. Authenticity, amidst all that clutter and chaos and confusion, is not a buzzword. It is your unfair advantage. That's right. In a sea of sameness, the original wins. That's right. Forget about the algorithm chaser, the buzzword babbler. It is the one who shows up bravely and authentically who wins the day. Be that person. When I was a network TV news anchor and reporter, consultants told us we had about 7 seconds to hook a viewer. That number, as I said today, 3 seconds, and it's going down all the time. Our attention spans are dying with our phones and our nonstop scrolling. So how do you cut through that? Well, I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't get louder. You get real. Skip the fluff. Say something true. Say something that matters. Be original. Be authentic. Show up differently and offer something of value. How about that? So here are the steps to 3-second selling. Pique their curiosity, activate their brain, arouse their attention, get them to put down their script, and you put down yours. So where did this come from? I'm not a traditional sales and marketing person, even though this is ostensibly a sales and marketing platform, for lack of a better description. I think it's more than that, but if you want to put it in a funnel, there it is. I wasn't a CPG guy. I didn't sell computers for Dell or software. I was a network TV entertainment reporter and news anchor. Worked for a network that could be seen in 44 million homes. I did news cut-ins and anchored shows on MTV, VH1, Showtime, and USA. Did hundreds of live shots from the red carpet at the Academy Awards. And pretty much every weekend for 5 years would go to either LA or New York, do press junkets and interview the likes of Tom Hanks, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep, and others. So I was getting ready to interview Tom Hanks for the movie Forrest Gump. We had all gone to the Paramount Studios to watch the movie. We came out, didn't take a PhD in film studies to know that was going to be a big hit. And I go to the hospitality room, I get my call sheet. I look down, see my name, number 8, to interview Tom Hanks. Number 8, that's pretty good. Just past the big networks. Then I realized my call sheet's pretty thick. So I look through the other pages and I count. How many interviews Tom Hanks is going to do in one day? 64. 64 back-to-back 5-minute TV interviews in one day. Guess what? Poor Tom Hanks. He's a good guy, I love him. People ask me all the time, who's your favorite interview? Tom Hanks. Interviewed him 4 times, and each time was special. So he's going to be on autopilot, right? He's going to be following a script literally and figuratively. He's going to be in brain conservation mode and energy conservation mode. So he and I are going to have a unique, authentic, memorable engagement. If I'm going to get that one soundbite that shows that we made a connection, I'm going to have to show up differently. I'm going to have to ask a different question. I'm going to have to arouse his brain, pique his curiosity. So I walk in, he recognizes me. Hey, last time we talked with League of Their Own. Okay, that's great. That's a good start. He recognized me, Tom Hanks. I have it on video in case you want to look for it. And I said, trace the line from Turner and Hooch and Joe versus the Volcano and Volunteers to League of Their Own in Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, and beyond. And he said, And he thought for a moment. And I thought, yes, I have him. His brain was spinning. He was thinking about what it is that he was going to say to me. And it was going to be original. He did not just spew out something that he said to the last person. He said, I'll tell you this. He said, Hollywood is a very collaborative business. And it's all about who you put in with. Not bad life advice, right? He said I wasn't as bad as some people said I was in those earlier projects. I wasn't as good as some people said I was in those later ones, although he did win a couple of Academy Awards along the way. So he's probably underselling himself. But the point is, I showed up differently, and I got a different response, a unique response. We had a moment. We had that special soundbite, and I knew I was onto something. So when that TV career ended, did a bunch of research around, I love to research, did a lot of research around neuroscience, the psychology of storytelling, left brain, right brain, why we make the decisions we do, why we make buying decisions. And out of that came 3-second selling. And since then, I have taught and grown thousands of leaders, equipped them with the tools to have sales and marketing success unlike any they have ever enjoyed. And that's what feeds me. I love that. You should be looking to add value to the life of your audience, your prospects, your customers, the people you work with, your friends, your family. That's what I try to do as well. Hundreds of speeches, thousands of satisfied customers and leaders who are able to use this and use this effectively. Because here's the reality. It has never been easier to reach large numbers of people with our messaging, whatever that messaging. Never been easier. Great, right? Well, flip side, two-sided coin. It's never been more difficult to actually connect with people, to actually engage them. And that is what is necessary if we are going to continue that journey of engagement. Earning that time and attention that keeps us in the conversation, that gives us permission to continue that conversation with the eventual finish line of becoming someone people know, like, and trust. We are no longer in charge, our audience is. So how do we do that? Well, again, it has to be about them, not us. We have to be customer-centric. We have to prove to our audience that we understand them, that we know them, that we value them, that we respect them, that we see them. People want to be seen. They are desperate to be seen and heard. We are feeling invisible today. And when you look at someone, whether it's your Uber or Lyft driver or somebody that at a rental car counter or a potential client or customer, when you see someone, when you understand them and you show that you appreciate them and value them and you offer something of value, great stuff happens. So one of the ways that we do that is context and contrast through transformation. This is your life before I entered your world, and this is your life after. After should be better, just a little hint. I mean, think about those weight loss ads, before and after, right? That's what we're after. Context and contrast. What is the struggle of your audience? What are their pain points? What can you do to make their lives better, easier? What does the world look like with you and without you? One of the ways that I frame that is by using what-if questions. What is, what could be. Providing a transfer to a solution. What if? What if if you're an insurance agent or a financial planner, wealth advisor? What if you're sitting there in the living room saying to a prospect, I could help you sleep better tonight? What if I could provide a foundation for financial freedom for you and your family? Would that be of value? Yeah, of course it would. What if? It's very effective. What if I could make you less anxious about the future? Hey, do tell, right? That's what we all need. And when we're doing that, there's one thing we must communicate, the big idea. Everyone should make sure that you know what your big idea is and that you drive that home, that you communicate that. What's at stake? What will happen if you don't come into their world? Not to scare them, but to show value. And here's the thing. We tend to shower our prospects and customers with facts and features and specs. Here, let me just shove a bunch of reasons your way, and being the smart person you are, you will conclude that you should work with me because you're smart. That's not the way our brains work. Go to trade shows and walk up and down the aisles and listen to people. Salespeople are just bombarding you with features and specs. That's not what we buy. Because reasons lead to conclusions. You're not trying to get somebody to conclude something. Emotions lead to actions. You're trying to get somebody to do something. Return a phone call, set an appointment, sign a contract, buy. Listen. Every single decision we make, for sure every buying decision, is driven by emotion. Every single one. And bombarding your audience with large amounts of infill and information, features and specs does not put you on the path to success and engagement. So you need to build an effective call to action, belief, understand, and act. We forget that the object of much of our efforts is to get somebody to do something, right? And that's just somehow lost. There's a famous Harvard Business School professor by the name of John Kotter. He's written a bunch of books. I love what he has to say. And he says behavior change happens mostly by speaking to people's feelings. In other words, by creating an emotional connection, right? Harvard Business School professor. And when we're on that journey, I'm going to introduce another subject. I mentioned valuing your audience. Listening is your sales superpower today. People do not feel listened to, they do not feel seen. Too many of our messages shout, look at me, look at me. It's about us, right? 80% of our messaging is about us, not about them. We're obsessed with features and specs and clever copy. It doesn't land. It goes by. People ignore you. And most of us aren't good listeners. I asked Jack Lemmon, one of my favorite actors, what the best attribute for an actor or actress is. He said, listening. Be in the moment. Be in the zone. Buyers don't make decisions based on bullet points. They make decisions based on belief, belonging, and feeling understood. The fastest way to do that, fastest way to make someone feel understood is to actually listen. Not just nod, but actually listen. Listening builds trust, trust builds connection, and connection drives conversions. What we're all after, right? So before your next piece of content, your next phone call, your next interaction with your team or prospect or client, ask yourself, am I talking to my audience? Am I shouting at them? Is this all about me, or am I listening to them first? Because in a world full of noise, listening is what cuts through. So stop pitching and start connecting, because you only get one first impression. The clock is ticking, right? Make it count. Clarity, connection, conversion in less time than a scroll. 3 seconds, not 30. So the next time you speak, you post, you pitch, you present, don't lead with what you have to say. Lead with what you want them to feel. That's 3 seconds. Selling, that is how you break through. Be interesting, be relevant, be of value. Show that you understand your audience, that you value them, and that you, in turn, have something of value to offer. That is what earns time and attention in our new attention economy, where it is difficult to get our conversations and our content to land. It is a cluttered, chaotic world, and I challenge you, take a piece of content, take a script, take your next campaign, rewrite that first sentence. Not information, ignition. Think about what it can do. Think about the fire it can light, the conversations that it can create. The path to emotional connection and engagement that earn you time and attention, that get you to success. I thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate it. I hope I've kept it. I look forward to connecting and continuing the conversation.